Welcome to the Vault Excel. Hope you all are having a wonderful week. Please stay inside where it's cool. Stay hydrated. Very high temperatures here in East Tennessee, 97 degrees. It'll be 97 tomorrow, and probably hot where you are as well. Stay hydrated, everybody. Finally, an ending to this madness pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. The federal government, has rested. We're going to recap a little bit of the information from yesterday, and then we'll go from there, everybody. ABC News is the source if you need verification for the information.
We're outside federal court in Lower Manhattan, where for the last 7 weeks, federal prosecutors have been presenting their case against one of music's biggest stars, the hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. And after 34 witnesses testifying over 28 days, when even the temperature has gone from 50 degrees to 100 degrees, today the prosecution rested. Soon, a jury of 8 men and 4 women will be handed the case after hearing from 34 witnesses and examining more than 1,000 pieces of evidence, including voice notes of Combs played in court.
Where my life is at right now, I don't have no time for no games, baby girl. Me and you can be mad, I can have a spat, we can have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job.
Some of the government's key testimony came from 3 alleged victims. 7 former Combs employees, 4 hotel workers, 2 celebrities, and 2 male escorts, one known as the Punisher and Daniel Phillip. Prosecutors say this testimony and hundreds of pieces of evidence paint a picture of a criminal enterprise they say Combs used to coerce, traffic, and transport his alleged victims, with the defense unsuccessfully filing for 2 mistrials and the judge dismissing 1 juror for lack of candor. In the midst of it all, a child was born. Star witness Cassie Ventura. Sean Combs has maintained his innocence throughout, and his attorneys are resting the defense case without calling any witnesses, seemingly confident they've raised enough doubt among jurors that what they've heard for the last 7 weeks amounts to ex-girlfriends complaining about regretful sex. Stay with ABC News for all the latest developments as one of the most high-profile trials in recent memory heads to the jury.
ABC News is the source. That's the best recap I've heard in 2 minutes. Amen. So, 7 ex-employees, all with negative commentary. 3 females. And that's not probably the half of it. As they have said on the news pertaining to this trial, imagine what you don't know. Imagine what you have not heard pertaining to the treatment of others by Sean. And naturally, there are many people out here who have the same type of deviant mindset to be vindictive, gaslighting, bribery, blackmail. There are people out here who have done the same thing or doing the same thing to others. You just don't know about it. This just happens to be a man who's worth a lot of money. That's the only difference. But there are many people who navigate just like Sean Combs. They're deviant. They're hypersex. They mistreat people. Just haven't made it to court. Where is this Gina female? Where is she? Where is that female that we've heard her name so many times mentioned? I believe she's the mystery witness that didn't testify. Why not? You want to stay in favor of a man who's possibly going to go to prison for God knows how many years. Why? We heard that Jane Doe still loves Sean Combs. Ventura testified. She didn't say she loved him to my recollection. She probably has some little bit of a twinge for him. Is this regretful sex by the 3 women who testified? I still care for him. I don't care for him. I feel bad about what I've done pertaining to the freak-offs and allowing this person to manipulate and con me and bamboozle me into freak-off king nights. I say so. Because we all have regrets, do we not? Why did I talk to that guy? Why did I date that guy? Why did I have a baby by that guy? Why did I allow this guy to do these type of things to me? Sexual things, blackmail me, bribe me, mistreat my friends, my associates, my parents, blackmail my mother. I think we all have regrets in dealing with people. Maybe not to the extent that these females and workers, employees endured. But we all have regrets in dealing with people, talking to people, befriending people. God knows I can testify. I can testify right now. But I don't have a lawyer, so we need not go there. But you understand what I'm saying? The jury got to see clips of sex videos yesterday. And they said in one commentary, I believe it was Law and Crime, I didn't go into the video, but the title of the video was, he looked uncomfortable. Really? Because you see, his business has been aired out. Because what do they say, the old saying, seeing is believing? And that's what we've heard from a lot of people that testified. He said, she said, he did this, he did this, he did this. But seeing is believing. Oh, here is the video, excerpts from the video. Naturally, the court didn't get to see and hear, but the jury got to wear earphones and get a visual on their monitors of these freak-offs to show that they did happen. So it's not just he said, she said from the Punisher, the other escort, Cassie, Jane Doe, whomever. Here are the excerpts to show these things did happen. Hotel staff testifying to racked up, setups of the rooms and bribery with the tapes and this, that, and the other. Agent testifying to hotel receipts, phone logs, phone conversations, video clips, voice clips, receipts to airline tickets, booking these escorts, so on and so forth. We had a summary witness. That's somebody who's not directly involved in the case, but a federal agent that went through all the data. His testimony ended yesterday. So you got all this, as I said, he said, she said, but then verified by receipts, text messages, videos, video excerpts, Cassie Ventura's video of her being beat up at the hotel. So the proof is in the pudding. And you know, Queen, that's her favorite line. Bring me a receipt. Well, that is what the federal government did. They brought receipts, plural. And this is where it's almost comical when the defense still keeps saying everything was consensual. Well, I guess it depends on your interpretation. Yes, the people consented to sex, but the law says you cannot solicit sex for money. You cannot offer to pay, nor shall you receive money. So that's where this is a problem for the defense. So if you don't believe that there's racketeering, you don't believe that there was human trafficking of said human beings, the one thing that the government has proven is that Sean and all these women, men participated in paid sex, which is against the law in most states. And he also paid for people to travel. So that's been proven because they've got the phone logs, the receipts, so on and so forth. And the men have come to court, at least two, to testify, yeah, I was paid. Hey, I raised my hand. I was paid. Next guy. Yeah, I was paid. Cassie Ventura tells you she was willing and dealing with the payments and picking out the men. Jane Doe, same thing. She had her two preferences. So that's already been proven. Then they got receipts to show hotel, the men using aliases, Sean using aliases, Mr. Black, Mr. White, whatever. They're even on some of his prescription bottles where he had drugs in those prescription bottles seized from the Miami home, drugs, guns, 2 guns, a rifle to face, so on and so forth. So he has a lot of issues still on the table, even despite what was said in court. And somehow I believe he still does not think what he has done is wrong. The things that the people told in court, what they testified to. He's done a lot of wrong. Things that most of us aren't even thinking about doing. Running around filming people, blackmailing people, because we're not getting our way. As you heard in the excerpt, oh, you need to get on your job. I don't care if we have a spat, blah, blah, blah. So basically he's telling the women, you're a sex worker. I don't have any use for you, but for you to do as I say. So that's not love. He's proven that. I don't love these women. I never loved them. You never loved Cassie, Jane Doe, Pookie, Ray, whomever. Sugar mama of the hour. Young Miami, I'm going to throw you in there too. And for those of you that think that Kim Porter had a great life with him, you must be delusional. After what you've heard in court for 7 weeks, you actually think Kim Porter had a great relationship with Sean Puffy Combs? Come on now. Stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense. I saw somebody's comment a couple weeks ago. I don't think he did that to Kim. I don't think he beat her up. I don't think she stood for this. You're talking about a dead woman, first of all, who can't speak. And then you're looking at the character of this man, of all these people who have testified, who don't have anything positive to say, and yet you would say, pertaining to a dead woman, what she didn't put up with. Well, she can't tell us what she put up with. And you're entitled to believe that she wrote a journal book that was allegedly published by an anonymous person. You're entitled to believe that was her own words. But the point is, a dead woman can't tell a tale. She's not here to tell us what her relationship was like with Sean. But we can use deduction. It wasn't great. Number one, he never married her. Ding, ding, ding. And he was sleeping with other women while he was with her. That's been told in the court. Because it seems like to me, that's his MO. He's with you, and you. And everybody thinking they're the main line or the main event, but they weren't the main event. And I think a lot of people, especially women, they think they're special because that's what I guess somebody told them or they told themselves. I'm the main event. I'm the one he comes home to. Well, it looks like to me he's going home with a lot of people. So there's no such thing as because somebody comes home to you. That means something. It doesn't mean anything. And Sean is proven he loves no one. He doesn't even love himself because he didn't even have sense enough to think that one day that some of this stuff will come back to haunt him, which it did in 2025. The government took him to court. So it came back. Took a long time, but it came back. And you're seeing a lot of this with a lot of these men who are being accused of sexual improprieties towards women and children, whether they're famous or not famous. That your little dirty deeds behind closed doors, putting your hand under people's skirts and crotches, backsides can come back to bite you in the butt, literally. Because that's the whole point. What you're doing is wrong, and it's salacious, and it's vile. And you're violating a person's rights. So it shouldn't be told. So whether you believe the allegations or not, he's just a dirty bird. You can have all the sex you want. You want to have multiple partners. That's your business. But when you pay for sex, it's against the law. It's prostitution. It is what it is. You don't like it? Take it up with your government. It is what it is. The law says it's prostitution. Who are you mad at? And so his mind, he believes it's not against the law. The defense attorneys are trying to make the world believe prostitution is legal. After the government is proven this is what he's been engaging in with these people, and they all testified. And so what you have to say, tell yourself, you know they're not lying because you're sitting here telling on yourself that you've engaged in prostitution. Who the hell wants to tell that about themselves, to the general public? Your friends, your family, they all know your dirty secrets that you were doing all this crazy swapping of penises and vaginas behind closed doors. That's not something you just go, as they say, write home about. Hey, guess what I was doing with Sean Puffy Combs? I don't know. Tell me. Oh, I was letting him film me have sex with strangers for money. And I got this much money a month and my rent paid and this paid. And then he blackmailed me, blah, blah, blah. That ain't nothing to brag about. So you see, it wasn't an even swap. And some of you may think it was. Well, they got money, but look what you had to do to get the money. You had to sell your soul to the devil. Degrade yourself to get 10 G's a month. Or as they would say in the street, 10 racks. You had to get 10 racks. But what's the ultimate pay for your 10 racks? Oh, a house to house your son in, but then your son's going to learn what you had to do to get the money. Come on with it, Queen Preacher. Isn't that right, Jane Doe? Your son is going to eventually find out what mommy had to do to get the 10 racks a month. How are you going to explain that to a boy child? Oh, so you were hoeing for the almighty dollar just to keep me in a house. And some might say, he might just say, well, my mommy did what she had to do, but did she? And that's people have been saying he has his own father. So what the hell are we really talking about here? And he's allegedly a rapper. Who is this mystery rapper? I'm very curious. That don't get along with Sean. Looks like to me, Sean don't get along with anybody. If we to go deep into the belly of the beast. I mean, look at how many people testified against him. Talk about 47 witnesses, 7 ex-employees, 3 women who were tangled up with them, entangled. And nobody has anything positive to say about their dealings with Sean Combs. And that's a terrible thing. Because in the end, there's always going to be somebody that likes you, somebody that's going to uphold your wrongdoing, somebody's going to testify, well, I didn't have that experience with him. Well, count yourself lucky if you're one of those people that can say, I didn't have that experience with Sean Combs. You're a very lucky person. But imagine all the other unlucky people who we have not heard from, such as Miss Gina. Then we got Miss KK. I do believe the government is going to bring her up for conspiracy later. They're just waiting to get a verdict on Sean first. Always remember the government is very meticulous about how they do business, because I know a lot of you are wondering why she wasn't sitting beside her friend, Mr. Sean. That's because the state is waiting on a verdict. They're waiting for everybody's testimony to get typed into the computer, which it did, waiting for a verdict, and then they'll bring her in by her little lonesome and charge her with conspiracy for the same charges. Ding, ding, ding. And KK knows that. That's why she has not been introduced into this trial. Makes a lot of sense. We're going to save her for later. And I'm sure she's scared. So you see, loyalty isn't all it's cracked up to be. And I think many of you know this from dealing with gang members, the mob. There's no such thing as loyalty. Just like when they talk about the snitch rule. Oh, I love that. Everybody has something to say about somebody testifying. But as they say, do you really know what snitching is? Snitching is for those who are involved in a conspiracy. So if you're out here minding your business, as I've always said, you get your house broken into, your car bombed. How the hell are you snitching? You violating me. You broke into my house. You blew up my damn Porsche. I don't know you. I'm not drug dealing with you. I ain't in no prostitution gangs with you. I'm not doing nothing with you. I don't even know you like that. So the state called me in to testify. Hell yeah, I'm going to tell them about my house and my car bombed. So anybody calling Kid Cudi's a snitch, you out of line. Young thug, you the last person need to be talking. Shut your mouth. You need to just be real still. Because the government didn't talk to you too and told you need to stay off social media and keep your damn mouth closed. I said that. Everybody needs to stay in the damn lane. No such thing as snitching. Hell, I don't know you. I'm not involved with you in any illegal dealings. You do something to me, I see you. You stabbed me, you shot me, I live. How the hell am I snitching? And these people testify under immunity. And there are penalties for you not coming forward if the government decides they want to hold you accountable. So that's why these people went on in, because they knew they were a party to the said charges. And the government has proven that. That's the reason why these people testified under immunity. You're willingly going in doing something that you know is about to happen that is against the law, such as you setting up the hotel rooms in any capacity, and you have knowledge that it's about to be paid people in that room, then you are a party to the conspiracy. And some people really can't get that through their head for some weird reason, such as Sean Puffy Combs. It's consensual. It's consensual. But what he don't understand is you were paying the people, so that's against the law. We get it. You consented to have sex with this one and that one, the women, but the deed that you're filming is against the law. You paid a prostitute to sleep with your girly girl. That's against the law, sir. Also, you filming, that should be against the law. You have no right to be filming people. And those women, you're crazy. I would never allow somebody to film me. So besides you selling your soul to the devil to have sex with these male escorts, prostitutes, whatever you want to call them, private dancers, bro, you got to film me. I don't want you filming me. Because now these people are looking at you in a courtroom. Jury members are looking at you. Then you don't even know where else those videos have surfaced. See, and I won't doubt that Sean probably put him on a sites, because he's nasty like that. And the thing that's really interesting about everything that's been said for 7 weeks is that these stupid people kept a receipt themselves. That's how the state was able to get, the government was able to get this information. You all just don't delete nothing. Why not? You got Cassie had stuff on her phone, iPads. Why? I still would like to know who provided that CNN video. I don't know if I missed that. Feel free to put it in the comments. Who provided that footage? I'm curious. And I also asked that question at the beginning of this trial. Did any of these men try to double back and get more money from Sean Combs? Did he ever put out any more payments? Because you had the golden ticket. And to say, oh, I gave him the USB drive, blah, blah, blah. Come on now. Come on now. Who's not going to keep a copy? Remember he said he filmed it from his phone because he couldn't believe it and he showed it to his wife. And he wanted to tell her about it. And she wouldn't believe me if I told her. So he filmed it from his cell phone. And I'm supposed to believe he deleted that video from his phone? Of course not. And you don't know what he did with the video. But he might have been scared, like these other people who've dealt with Sean. I better not get this out. I better not sell this. I better not, because then he'll know it came from me or the other guys. And I don't know what he might do to me because he is famous. And then I'm now selling porn. Ding, ding, ding. Uh-huh. Very scary situation. And isn't it amazing how all these people didn't know one another, but they've all been wrapped up, neatly wrapped into this little tight bonnet Sean Combs. Isn't that interesting? That's how the world is it not? How 6 degrees of separation can bring people together to some foolishness. And all these people now can say they're eerily connected by one black man. Lord have mercy. I think that a lot of the women have regrets. I think there are a lot of people out here who've had sex with Sean have regrets. I won't doubt that some of these people have come up short sexually, if you get my drift. And as I've said, when you start counting all these bobbleheads, you know damn well somebody came up short, because we have 2 women to testify that they had girly problems downtown. And I think they sugarcoated those girly problems. Because when you start talking about getting sick, I want you to really use your imagination to what sick means. UTIs, yeah, they're painful. Urinary tract infections. And most people only get them, women anyway, get them from like maybe drinking too much soda pop, too much caffeine, not drinking enough water. They're getting UTIs because there's too much penis going on downtown. My. So you have to use deduction. Well, if it's just UTIs, what else were you catching downtown? Venereal diseases. They just want to put it on paper and put it in front of the court. Oh, I actually caught this: chlamydia, trichomonas, herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea, or whatever other new diseases floating around out there. COVID times 20. You see what I'm saying? Because that don't sound too good. And then you got to think about whoever they're sleeping with. Ding, ding, ding. They hear that. And they're going to be like, well, you had this, and this. You've been sleeping with me. And that's not counting the other people they slept with unprotected. So you might have a slight problem. But this is why I said they sugarcoated all that in court, because they know these people out here who have been sleeping with Cassie, this Jane Doe, the other young lady, Mia, whomever, these other people, these entities out here can sue. So hell no, they're not going to put a name on no venereal disease. Just call it infections. That's just a prettier word for venereal disease. And I won't be surprised that somebody in this intricate circle of King Knights, Harlem Knights, somebody has the package. And that's one thing nobody on the news will address. Why not? You know, the Queen, I don't sugarcoat nothing over here. And I'm just trying to understand why nobody's talking about it. I got an infection. Now, what else did you get? What else did you give, pass, contract? Come on now. Because I don't care what nobody says. The Punisher, he's worried about Cassie's feelings and this and that. You need to be worried about your wee-wee if you ain't had your wee-wee check. How about that? When was the last time anybody in this circle, and that's including Sean, had an AIDS test, HIV test. I'll wait. Because that's the one thing, the big old pink elephant that's in the room that nobody talks about. You're talking about receipts and hotel and baby oil on curtains, baby oil on sheets, baby oil on the carpet, who got paid what, who got paid this amount a month, who got the car blowed up, who got the car broke into, who ain't testified, who's missing, but ain't nobody talking about that big old elephant. Who then came up short and they are willingly out here with HIV, AIDS, passing it around. Because I'm telling you what's getting ready to happen eventually. Somebody's going to eventually put their face to HIV and they're going to connect it to Sean Puffy Combs, Cassie, this girl, Jane Doe, and whomever else has been sleeping with Sean Combs. Oh, I'm waiting on that. Because you know it's surely coming. Because too many people already got stories they done told. You already know it's inevitable that somebody's going to be short in that group. And who y'all going to sue? Because you don't even know who started and who passed it. You just know, well, I had sex with her and I had sex with her and I had sex with him. Well, I don't know how I had it, when I got it. This is crazy to me. This ain't nothing but an R. Kelly repeat. And I believe he's giving commentary, but I don't know how he's giving commentary about anything because he's in solitary confinement. So who the hell is R. Kelly talking about this Puffy trial? That's neither here nor there. He got his own problems. And if you didn't know, he's been denied emergency release from his North Carolina prison. The government is arrested, and the defense is calling no witnesses. Sorry, I didn't put that in the title. Why not? They said Sean wanted to testify. And say what? What do you have to say to 12 members of the jury? Honey, that's the day a fly would turn gold. Did you hear what I said? That is the day a fly would have turned gold. When Sean Puffy Combs got on the witness stand. What in God's name could you tell the court about everything them people have said about you? Well, sir, why did you do this? And why did you do this, sir? Why did you blackmail the mama, sir? Why did you pay the mama the money back 4 days later, sir? Why'd you beat that girl up, sir? Why were you bribing that girl, filming that girl, blackmailing that girl, Cassie Ventura? Why were you doing that to her, sir? Why did you beat up her friend, sir? Y'all see where I'm going with this. What in the hell could you say in response? I don't know. Oh, I know. I was on drugs. I have a pill problem. I like to drink. Okay, but damn. You like putting your hands on everybody when you get high and drunk. Apparently so. I have a problem. I'm an addict. Boy, his withdrawals must have been hell up in that damn jail cell. Have any of you ever been around anybody who has had withdrawals from pills, cocaine, crack, fentanyl, heroin, alcohol? It's not pretty. From what I've been told and what I've seen recently from somebody, alcohol withdrawals. It's not pretty at all. Sweating. Sweating for no damn reason. It's not a pretty sight. And I won't doubt Sean was a hot butter mess up there in that damn jail. Because he doesn't have his liquid courage and his pills and mollies and ecstasy and cocaine and whatever else he chose to use while out and about. And I'm sure he's thinking about all of that. I'll tell you something else was funny. When they were the drawing, the artists, I want to thank the artists who drew these magnificent photographs of the court scene the past 7 weeks. Sean there with his headphones on. The jury, they've got their headsets on because, they're looking and listening to the ooh, ah, ah in the King Knights excerpts. And I'm just sitting here looking at this damn picture, telling myself, why is he listening to his own self and these people oohing and ahhing? He probably got an erection by listening. You all have heard of that, have you not? When suspects are being interrogated, or they've been, they've told on themselves, about the crimes they've committed, that they can get an erection and get turned on by what the law enforcement is talking to them about. Their what's the word I want? Their crimes, rather. Sam Little did that. Interrogation room. If you never heard about Sam Little, infamous serial killer, killing black women, multi-state serial killer. When he was describing strangling the women, because that was his thing, he liked the neck. He said he was always attracted to the neck ever since he was a child. Even while describing the women, even drew all their faces and different pictures of the women he killed. He became aroused in talking about strangling the women, and his leg would shake. And if you've ever noticed that with men, because I'm a very good observer, usually men who tend to get excited, let's say, about women in general, they tend to shake their legs, if you've ever noticed that. They'll sway their leg back and forth, back and forth. And I've seen a guy do this, one of my male friends. He did it one night in a bar, and I kept saying, what's going on with your leg? I said, why are you shaking your leg like that, back and forth? What's going on? And I knew what was going on. He was getting turned on by the woman who was standing in our midst. So I know that sign. And that's the same thing Mr. Little was doing under the table while he was being interrogated by the detectives, while he's describing what the woman looked like, strangling her. That's how he got off. He didn't get off by having sex with the victims. He got off by strangling them. And his leg would shake while he was telling the story. He's getting excited, turned on. So I know that leg shaking thing, because I've seen it with my own eyes from someone. And I knew why he was shaking his leg. He was getting turned on by the female in front of us. And I called him out on it. I said, what the hell's going on with you? What the hell's going on with your leg? I said, damn, you turned on like that? And you're in public? And he looked at me because he didn't know I knew. Well, I'm a woman. I'm not dead. And he's like, damn, you saw that? I said, well, honey, your leg is shaking a mile a minute going back and forth. I mean, it's obvious something's going on with you. Basically, I called his bluff, letting them know you can't even control yourself to where you can't even make it obvious. I mean, you're making it obvious in public. You're getting turned on by a woman. Damn, that's bad. So back to Sean. He's got the headsets on. I won't doubt his leg was shaking as well, sitting in that chair, going back and forth. I wonder if anybody caught it. Because he probably was getting turned on listening to the people moan and groan. And he gets to relive that. That's probably why he kept those videos in the first place, so he could go back and watch. And the one thing that I don't think a lot of people understand about Sean filming these people having sex, it's really weird. It's weird because this ain't your typical watching porn. We're all grown. Most of us have seen some type of pornography material. But the fact that he's not engaging in the sex, that should tell you something is off with him. Anybody following the queen? Why are you not engaging in the sex with the women and the escorts? That's why Jane Doe said, I thought perhaps that he is bisexual. Very good observation, Jane Doe. Because when you go into good old Google, that is one of the symptoms that comes up pertaining to a person that wants to watch the man and the woman have sex but not participate, that they are possibly bisexual. And that has been said about Sean Combs, that he does also like men, boy children as well. I won't doubt it. And I do find that interesting. That's why he was always covered up, wearing shades, wearing some type of garb, as not to one, be identified, but possibly turned on watching the man. And then we also learned he wanted the men to also be heavily endowed downtown. Now put that on paper. You would think it'll be a woman asking for that as a request. Well, make sure the man has a big penis. Oh no. Not the women asking, but Sean, the voyeur. Imagine that. They got to have a big you know what. You don't find that odd and peculiar? He doesn't call in women as escorts, only men. This is starting to make a whole lot of sense now. He calls in men only to be with his so-called woman that he allegedly loves, which we know he don't love nobody, ain't never loved nobody. And he watches in a corner, touching himself and gratifying himself, and the man has to have a big wahoo. Well, now. And all that's been told in an open court. And any spectator who was there. I must say, at this point, the fly on the wall is most definitely gold. Golden. You can't make this stuff up. And these are things that a person should not want told about him or her to anyone, especially in open court, and then repeat it to the general public, to the masses. But it's out there now. And some part of me says he probably doesn't care. Because one, he doesn't think he's done anything wrong. So my better half has to say, why would he care that people know that he is into watching people have sex? He has a preference for baby oil and glistening bodies. He likes the man to have a big wahoo downtown. People know he likes to blackmail, bribe people, record, keep all conversations, text messages, blackmail family members, blow up cars, breaking and entering, interrogating people for 5 days in warehouses with lie detector tests, ordering people around, dragging people, pulling them by the hair, punching them in the mouth, punching them in the face. Why would he care? Because if he cared, he would have never continued to keep doing these ugly things to other people. So him sitting in the courtroom, I don't think he has any remorse. He has no empathy inside of him because he feels like he's God. I can do whatever I want when I want. You'll do as I say. And that's been said in his own voice. You do your role, you play your role, you do your job. So basically what those women said in court, they weren't lying. What they were doing with these men, that was their job, to be a sex worker, to be a performer. But look at the price they've had to pay. Getting infections, probably, diseases, staying at the doctor, getting meds all the time, antibiotics, because that's the only thing that's going to cure those diseases. Ruining your girlfriend downtown. Ain't no telling what damage has been done. Because naturally you're having sex a lot, especially with a heavily endowed man. There's going to be some type of disruption downtown. And then you also have to count self-worth. You can't feel too good about these sex acts when allegedly you didn't want to do them. Although we have messages of the women acting like they wanted to participate and were looking forward to participating, which may make some jury members feel a bit conflicted about the role of these women. But as I said, the end result, they can't feel too good about themselves because now you've had to come to court to another city and testify against Sean Combs. And the sad part is that one of them says she still loves him, and that's Jane Doe. And I won't doubt there are other women out there who probably have the same emotion towards him. They just haven't told their story. And I won't doubt that down the road, we are going to hear more stories about Sean Combs and possibly more lawsuits. Will he settle any more lawsuits? Because remember, he lied about what happened to Cassie. He paid her one day later, and then months later, the tape comes out. He makes a $2 IG video, then he takes it down, and then months later, he's arrested in New York when he came because he knew he was going to be going to jail, which shows he has no remorse. He's an addict. He's never going to stop using drugs. And as you heard Brendan say, he took the blame for the drugs on that jet that day last year because he wanted to be loyal to him. But as I've said before, look what loyalty has cost all parties. You have subjected yourself to losing your integrity, your values, your thought process for the almighty dollar, and to be in the company of a fool. And so, see, I don't get turned on by wealthy people. Yes, money is nice, but if I look at you and see that you act like a fool and talk like a fool, to me, I'm not looking at you now as a athlete, entertainer, CEO of a corporation, rocket scientist. I'm looking at you as a fool. And that's how Queen views everybody. I can see you dressed nice. You can look nice, nice car, nice home. But when you open your mouth and you act a donkey's ass, to me, you are just a donkey. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not turned on at that point. You are like everybody else to me. And that's what people need to understand about people who are well off. Stop putting them on pedestals. Stop idolizing people you don't know a damn thing about. Stop saying, I know he wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do that. He'd have no reason. I used to hear that SHIT in college about what a guy wouldn't do. He's popular. Everybody likes him. He has no reason to rape a lady. Come on. Really? As they say, it's not about looks and this and that. What he can get. It's about control, allegedly. Sexual assault. So when you brag about a guy, he wouldn't sexually assault somebody because he's got it going on. He looks good. He got it going on. It's not about that. That's your perception of him. This thing you think you know. You don't know him. And I think a lot of people are saying they don't know people. And there are a lot of people who are probably saying the same about Sean. Oh, I thought I knew him. I thought he was a great guy, a fun guy. Oh, he's donating this to the schools and the colleges and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, but he's a sadist. So that sadist was giving money to Howard University and helping the kids in the neighborhoods. You were taking money from a vile heathen that can't feel too good. You're putting your faith in a vile heathen. You were upholding a vile heathen. You were worshiping a vile heathen. And you still got people out here who are rooting for Sean Puffy Combs. Why? After all you heard, you still rooting for him? Why? Who the fuck is he for you to be rooting for? He's a nobody. He's a bum. And they're all the same. Weinstein, Epstein, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Spacey, whomever. The fact that you think that you could sexually assault a person, gaslight them, manipulate, film, blackmail, bribe, touch inappropriately, you're out of effing line. You have no right to be touching people, period. I don't care. Stroking her hair, rubbing her neck, rubbing her shoulder, backside, waist. Keep your hands to yourself. You do not own anyone. And if a person asks you to stop touching him, her, then stop. They don't want to have sex, they meant no. And they can even be during the act. They at some point decide, I don't do this. Get your ass up and put your britches on and hit the door. Why do you want to be the person that took the cookie, the nookie? That ain't a good look. And who knows, maybe one day Sean will come to the realization he is not king. He is not God. He is not favored, although he's a child of God. But God is the only one that can reckon with him because man can't do anything with Sean. And you will come to learn this as you deal with people. That just certain people man can't do anything with and for. Sean Combs is one of those people. That's God's child. God got to work with him. Because there's no reasoning with his type of mindset. He is a heathen. He's a sadist. So a therapist, a rabbi, a priest, a pastor, they can't do nothing with him. Ain't no talking to him. about nothing because he's too far gone now. As I say all the time, he's out there in La La Land. Only God can work with a thing like that. And then we have learned about sadists that there's no curing a sadist. So even if the sadist wants to take it to the Lord and try to change, pray about it, get some therapy, get some treatment for their addictions, it's still in them, and rarely do they change. And that's really a sad statistic. And we've heard this about child molesters, child sadists, sexual assaulters, that they rarely change. And this is why you have a higher recidivism with offenders. They go to jail, go to prison, they get out, they still offend because there's something in them that cannot change. And I guess it would be no different than a serial killer. After you got victim 1, victim 2, victim 8, you could not be set free because you would go back out here and do the same thing again. That's why you have to stay incarcerated, because there's no help for you. It's the same with sexual sadists. There's no help because their mind can't turn off the deviance. And matter of fact, that's scary as hell, because we have people walking amongst us right now who are just like Sean, who are just like these serial killers, and you don't know that they are that person. And you're going in their company willingly, unwillingly, not knowing who he or she is. And yes, we have women sadists as well. We have a more serious uptick of women assaulting children for some crazy reason. Why a woman is attracted to a boy child, girl child, it's the sickest thing I ever heard. But every time you look up in the queue, there's a woman being arrested for sexual assault against a boy, a student. Why? The hell's wrong with a grown man? So you say the same about a man. What's wrong with a grown woman? Why can't you be attracted to an adult woman? Why are you attracted to children? Because let me tell you something. It comes from them being a child. More than likely, these people didn't have a childhood, or they were assaulted as children, and it became familiar to them. The norm. Fast forward, they're an adult. It's in them now. Can't turn it off. And now we have an adult sadist perpetrator. And I won't doubt that Sean was assaulted as a boy child. He was introduced to sex early in life. He participated in sexual acts, probably watched videos, pornography, magazines, possibly had sex with other children. I don't know, but I know he's engaged in sex with either children and adults as a child. And naturally, it's not his fault to be introduced to sex early. Possibly never told a parent, mother. They say the mother had a freestyle house when he was raised up with her. So it's no telling what he saw, what Janice introduced him to. You see, that is how a sadist is formed. Some may say it's from the belly, from the womb. I don't know. Not a doctor, not a scientist, not a psychiatrist. But we do know you can be made into a sadist. That's obvious. And I won't doubt Sean was tainted early in life. That's why he enjoys what he's doing now. He's got a knack for it. And you can see at his age, 54, 55, he's not about to change. He likes who he is and what he has become. There is no changing him. As I said, the only person that can work with him is God, and that's on Sean. Once again, the government is rested. All witnesses have testified for the federal government, 40 plus witnesses, 7 ex-employees, 3 women he was entangled with. The defense is calling no witnesses on behalf of Sean Combs, and I think it's obvious there's nothing that anyone could say. You have 4 lawyers dangling their lives and manipulations to the court as what he has done all his life. But the point is, the government has proven he has engaged in prostitution by transportation. That's been proven in the court. You may not agree with the racketeering charges, the human trafficking charges, but the one thing they have proven is the prostitution by transportation charges. That's been proven. Now, 12 members of the jury have to decide if he committed all charges. I will agree with the racketeering pertaining to the blackmailing and the bribery and the coercion, even though the people have free will, but you know, blackmailing the people, holding them hostage, making them get in cars and go places such as the woman Dawn, all those, all that craziness with Kid Cudi. That's not stuff those people signed up for, and I don't think she would have willingly went alone to go to Kid Cudi's house. He forced her. I believe he had the security guy make her go. I'm still on the fence about the other young lady going to the warehouse to be interrogated by the lie detector test, because at some point you should have told yourself, hey, he thinks I'm a fraud, blah, blah, blah. Let me find me another job. But as you see, these people held on for dear life to work for him for whatever reason. So you're entitled to your opinion of the racketeering, human trafficking charges, and the prostitution charges. The human trafficking, I don't know about that. But human trafficking goes in with prostitution, if I'm not mistaken. But you have to decide if you believe these people were unwilling participants to engage in these sex acts and didn't have a choice. That's the latest, everybody. Check out my community page for said updates, breaking news. I asked you all a question pertaining to the jury convicting Sean Combs on these said charges, and I'm going to read the results thus far. Will the jury convict him on all charges? 13 people voted. 85% yes, 8% no. Prostitution, transportation only, 0%. And then 8% of you said you're not sure. So it was a tie between no and not sure. But 85% of you believe Sean Puffy Combs will be convicted on all charges. Please take the poll. Please go to my community page once again for all updates to breaking news. And also I asked you all about Fat Joe the rapper. As most of you know, there are allegations against him for sexual assault and improprieties by 2 men. One was his hype man, and I don't know if there's any truth to these allegations, but allegedly Fat Joe and somebody else had some type of lawsuit brewing, and he's saying that this is retaliation from a suit he already had out. So I don't know if this is a retaliation suit by these 2 men or one of the men, but do you believe he has sexually assaulted these men? 54% of you said yes, 20% of you said no, and 26% of you said you're not sure. 50 people voted, and there were a comment. A comment was left yesterday. The person said probably. That's from Anonymous Lioness. And I replied, why do you say probably? They have not responded back. Movie of the week, Hotel Dunsmuir. A very weird, wicked, creepy, scary movie. Free on Tubi. It's about a 2-year-old movie. I watched it this weekend. Very weird movie about this woman on the run from an abusive boyfriend. And she goes to this weird hotel in the middle of nowhere where weird, creepy things are happening and have happened in the past. Hotel Dunsmuir is my movie of the week. Also, Barry Morphew has been arrested. He's waiving his right to extradition. That was 3 days ago. That's also an update. He's been arrested for the murder of his wife. And also feel free to go on the YouTube queue and check out 48 Hours. They have a documentary on that said case from about a year or so ago. And also, there was a little girl by the name of Claire Bell found in Ontario a week ago. She was missing. She was found. They've got a partial face blocked out. She's like a very beautiful little girl. And then you have to ask yourself, why did her mother drop her off on the side of the road? It's crazy nuts out here. Once again, Fat Joe says Fat Joe's former hype man alleges rapper forced him into thousands of sex acts. Wow, wow, wow. Let's play that. And then I'm going to check out of here, everybody. Once again, do you believe the allegations?
An explosive $20 million lawsuit for allegedly coercing his ex-hype man into thousands of sexual acts. In a graphic 157-page lawsuit, Terrence T.A. Dixon accuses Fat Joe, whose legal name is Joseph Cartagena, of more than a decade of abuse. The details so disturbing that there's a big trigger warning in the red on the first page of that filing. Dixon alleges that in the lawsuit, Cartagena forced him to, quote, humiliating situations, including sex acts, performed under duress and surveillance. Dixon claims he personally witnessed Cartagena engage in sexual relations with girls as young as 15, one of whom Cartagena was allegedly in love with and contemplated leaving his wife for. An attorney for Cartagena says the lawsuit is a blatant act of retaliation. NBC Stephen Romo is on the story for us. And Stephen, Cartagena initially sued Dixon, and now Dixon is suing Cartagena. Both sides are trading allegations here.
Yeah, a lot of allegations here, but the lawsuit filed today has a lot more graphic content, if you will, Tom. Cartagena actually sued Dixon back in April on allegations that, as a former employee, he was trying to extort him for money. Well, Dixon's suit that was filed today is a lot more than just a typical employment dispute. The complaint does accuse Cartagena of underpaying him, but it goes on with many more allegations, claiming Cartagena would bring women to hotel rooms and make Dixon have sex with them in front of him and others. It also alleges that Cartagena would fly underage girls into the U.S. from Europe, and that he paid for plastic surgery for one of them, and claimed that the minors were frequently cut off financially and discarded when they became non-compliant. Now, Cartagena's attorney claiming that those claims in this lawsuit are complete fabrications and lies, and saying, quote, the lawsuit filed by Tyrone Blackburn and Terrence Dixon is a blatant act of retaliation, a desperate attempt to deflect attention from the civil suit we filed first, of course referencing that lawsuit originally filed back in April, Tom.
So we have another famous rapper being hit with a RICO charge, and we talked about Sean Diddy Combs' trial earlier in the newscast. He's also, of course, being accused of building a criminal empire here, and several of the people connected to this lawsuit have ties to other big cases, including Diddy's.
Yeah, a lot of the players involved have connections to these cases. Joe Tacopina representing Joe Cartagena, of course, that's Fat Joe. He's also represented a lot of other big clients, including President Donald Trump, A$AP Rocky, and he actually turned down representing Sean Diddy Combs himself. And then we have Tyrone Blackburn there on the right, who is right now representing Dixon, but he is also representing music producer and rapper Lil Rodney in a separate case that is against Diddy. The lawsuit filed by Dixon is a civil RICO case, unlike Diddy's, which, of course, is a criminal RICO case. But there is a lot of crossover in these allegations here, Tom.
It's kind of head-spinning, actually, Stephen. Thanks very much.
We thank you for watching, and remember,
NBC News is the source. So these allegations are kind of similar to Sean then. Fat Joe bringing the young man in to have sex with women while he watches. Same MO as Sean. Voyeur, sitting in a corner, gratifying oneself, I'm assuming. Watching your so-called friend, associate, employee have sex with other women. Why? Fat Joe says it's retaliation because he filed a lawsuit first in April. Well, you're filing a lawsuit because he allegedly tried to extort money from you for non-payment of wages, plus other things. Now, if it was just the wages, one could say, okay, he's making this stuff up. But if in his original complaint, hey, I need money from you, you didn't pay me, plus you did this, and this too, one would say, well, maybe there's some truth to it. I don't know. We will see. But I will put some shorts up here in a second pertaining to Fat Joe and Sean Puffy Combs. This just goes back to what I've said. You don't know people. These allegations with Fat Joe are similar. Fat Joe allegedly liking young girls, dispose of them when they no longer would comply. Voyeurism, him watching other men have sex with young women. Very weird type SHIT. So now we got to ask that question. Fat Joe, are you a homosexual? Are you gay too? And you men, did you all have sex with Fat Joe? Sex acts? Lord have mercy, I'm dead. I'm done with this nonsense. The government has rested. Sean Puffy Combs trial. Defense without calling any witnesses. How will the jury vote? Guilty on all charges, guilty on some charges. We will see. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below this video. Follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app as well. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your time. I will be bringing you updates pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs and also Fat Joe, Smokey Robinson, other entertainers as the news becomes available. Once again, prayers for the two siblings in Canada that are currently missing. And thank God for the justice system in Florida that retrieved 60 children, I believe, in some type of human trafficking rackets. Thank God somebody's out there rooting for our children. You all have a wonderful week. Please stay cool. Stay hydrated. You have been listening to the Vault XL. Thank you for your time.